There are storms that announce themselves, and there are storms that arrive in April, when the fruit trees are in bloom and everyone has put away their heavy coats because spring has finally come. The great spring blizzard of 1901 was the second kind. So was the grace. Good evening. I'm Sedalia Voss. Tonight's letter is the hardest one I have held, not because it is dark, though it is in places, but because it is so honest, because the man who wrote most of it was not given to sentiment or elaboration, and so every word he chose carries the full weight of what he meant by it. What I have tonight is a small leather journal, plain cover, no initials, the kind a farmer keeps for weather and yields and the occasional thing that needs remembering. It belonged to Gideon Marshall. Most of the entries are exactly what you would expect. Planting dates, fence repairs, the price of corn. But in April of 1901, the entries change. Tucked inside the back cover, folded once, is a single page in a different hand. Smaller, a woman's writing, the ink slightly uneven, as if the hand that held the pen was not entirely steady. I'll read Gideon first, then Clara. Pull the covers up. The fire is lit. What the April snow kept. Part 1. Before the storm. April 15th, 1901. Warm again today. Third warm week running. Fruit trees full out. The old apple on the south slope has more blossom than I have seen in 20 years. River running high, but easy. Good color to it. Went by Reed's place in the afternoon. Found him at the river, as usual. We did not talk much. We rarely do. Sat a while on the bank. He looked better than last winter. The cold had been hard on him. Spring suited him. April 17th, 1901. Eli came by in the evening. He and Clara had been at the store. Long day of it. Clara asked after Reed. I told her he seemed well. She said she would take him something from the kitchen on Friday. She has always looked after him since she was a girl. Some things you don't have to teach. The evening was warm enough to sit on the porch. Felt like summer coming early. Did not think anything of it. Part 2. The storm arrives. April 19th, 1901. Rain started in the night. Heavy. By morning it had turned to something else. Sleet first. Then snow. Snow in April. The fruit trees still in blossom. Temperature dropped fast. Too fast. From the 60s yesterday to the 30s by noon. The blossoms are freezing on the branch. Whole season's fruit gone, most likely. Nothing to be done. River rising. Cut the entry short. Too much to see to. April 20th, 1901. 5 inches on the ground this morning. Still coming down. Communication lines down. Roads drifted and no way to know what is passable. George Pickett Jr. has been away since Thursday. Supplies, we think, though no word since the lines went down. His mother is alone on the east side of the valley. Reed had gone over the previous afternoon to check on her. Should have been back before dark. He was not back before dark. Eli went looking at first light. Part 3. Walking. What I am writing now comes from Mrs. Pickett herself. She told it to Eli, and Eli told it to me, and I have tried to write it down as close to her words as I can manage. She said the storm had turned faster than either of them expected. She had gone out in the weather in search of a mare who'd wandered off with her foal. Reed had joined her, the way neighbors do, and had stopped to rest when the temperature dropped and the sleet began. Within the hour it was snow. Within 2 hours it was white in every direction, and the familiar shapes of the valley had disappeared entirely. She said she did not know where they were. Reed probably didn't either. He never said so. What he said was, "We keep moving." She was cold. She said it in the way a woman says a thing she does not want to make too much of. Matter of fact, just stating it. She was cold and her coat was thin, and she was not sure her hands were working right anymore. He took off his coat. She told him not to. She said those words exactly. "Don't you dare, Calhoun Reed, you foolish man." He put it around her shoulders without a word and kept walking. She said he walked the way she imagined he must have walked a long time ago, when he was young and had come from somewhere hard and was looking for somewhere to be. Not fast, not frantic, just steady. One foot and then the other. His eyes moving over the white landscape the way a man reads something he has read before and is trying to find his place again. She said he was talking, quietly, almost to himself, not to her. She could not make out all of it, but she heard him say, at one point, "I know this valley." And she believed him. She said it was perhaps an hour of walking, perhaps more. She had lost track of time the way you do in cold. But at some point, he stopped and looked at a tree line she could not distinguish from any other tree line and said, "There." And he was right. The Pickett farmhouse was 50 yards ahead of them in the snow. He had found it. Part 4. Inside. He got the door open. She got the fire going. Calhoun was shaking too hard to manage the matches himself. She moved around the kitchen with the efficiency of someone who has done cold weather work her whole life, found blankets, and got him settled by the fire. She said it was the chair by the hearth. She said he sat the way he always sat. Not collapsed, not dramatic, just settled. Hands in his lap, his back straight. She made tea and set a cup on the table next to him. She asked if he was all right. He said, "I'm all right. You're inside. That's what matters." She went to find more blankets. When she came back, he had closed his eyes. She sat with him through the night. She kept the fire going. She talked to him sometimes, she said, not because she expected an answer, but because the silence was too large otherwise. By morning, she knew. She had known for hours, she said. But she sat with him until Eli came, because it did not seem right to leave him alone, not after he had walked through a blizzard to make sure she wasn't. Part 5. What Gideon wrote after. April 22nd, 1901. Storm over. Snow mostly gone now. George Pickett Jr. came back yesterday. Found his mother well. The mare wandered back, full with her. George Jr. came to our house afterward and stood in the yard for a long time without saying anything. Then he shook Eli's hand and went home. Reed's cabin is sound. Nobody has decided what to do with it. Nobody is ready. I am not given to this kind of writing, but it seems like it needed saying. He came over a ridge in September 1867 with nothing but a broken boot and the will to keep walking. He stayed. He learned this valley until it was part of the way he thought. And when a neighbor needed him, he walked through a blizzard with no coat and found his way home through it. He was a good man. The valley kept him well, and at the end, he kept it. April 28th, 1901. First proper warm day since the storm. Valley coming back to itself. I do not have anything else to say about it. Clara's note. I have been trying to write this for 3 weeks and have not managed it until now. He was there the whole time I was growing up, quietly, the way the river is there, the way the rock is there. Mrs. Pickett told me what he said at the end. I'm all right. You're inside. That's what matters. That was Calhoun. All of him. In one sentence. I keep thinking about what it took to walk through that storm. To not know where you are and to keep going anyway. To give what warmth you have left to someone else and trust that you'll find your way. He had always been that kind of man. I just didn't have the words for it until now. I went to the rock this morning. I listened to the calls of birds. Goodbye, Calhoun. The valley kept you well, and you kept it. Epilogue. A note from Sedalia. Gideon Marshall's journal contains 11 more entries after April 1901. They return, almost entirely, to planting dates and fence repairs and the price of corn. The last entry of that year, written in November, reads as follows. First frost last night. A jar is on the rock. Clara put it there. Eli was with her. 4 sentences. But Gideon Marshall was not a man who needed more than 4 sentences. Mrs. Pickett never spoke much about that April night. Every October, before the first frost, she walked to the flat rock and stood there a while before going home. She just stood. That was enough. Rest now. The letter is sealed. I'm Sedalia Voss, and I'll find you again next week. Good night.